Welcome back, Arsenal FanTV America Champions League edition. For all the football fans around the world, billions that watch this very sport, soccer, one of the most important, if not the most important league in the world is Champions League. The European Champions League, lots of teams, lots of experience, very exciting. Is actually second to the World Cup. So World Cup comes first as the most watched in the world, billions of people, and then comes in second, Champions League, again, billions of people watch it. So we wanted to cover that for you. As we all know, Arsenal is not in the Champions League. Last year, we had an opportunity to be in the top four for the English Premier League. We were in the top four till the last 2 weeks, and then we lost a couple of games. So unfortunately, we didn't make it. But hopefully this year, as we all know, Arsenal is doing very well. Top of the Premier League, 5 weeks in a row. It looks really good for them to get to the Champions League next year. So hopefully we can be talking about it. Right away, we're going to jump in Champions League Group A, which as we all know have Ajax Amsterdam, Liverpool Football Club, Rangers FC, it's a Scottish club, and Napoli from Italy. The first game we're going to talk about is Ajax Amsterdam and Liverpool. It was a very, very exciting game. Of course, we know that Liverpool comes into this game after losing to Napoli in Italy. We saw them go to Italy, I want to say, as a football coach, not prepared. They did not put the right weight for the opponent. You're going to Italy, you're playing Napoli. You have to really understand that, which is very intimidating. It's not that easy. So if you're not prepared, again, you lose. And they lost 4-1. Fast forward, second game for them, Ajax Amsterdam, which is the Netherlands champions for last year. They won the league in Netherlands last year, Ajax Amsterdam. Very historical club, produces a lot of good players. So they went to visit their second game, and they went to visit Liverpool in Anfield, which we all know, if not the toughest place to go to in world football, or especially in Europe, it is one of the most. The atmosphere there is unbelievable. And that's when really that, the fan makes the number 12 player say comes about. It's a very intimidating place, and I'm going to use Arsene Wenger here, our greatest of all times and legend. It's not about the way they play football only, but it's about Anfield. And when you go visit Anfield, it's a very intimidating place, and that's why they do very well in Europe. Salah and Matip scored for Liverpool, and it ended 2-1 Liverpool versus Ajax Amsterdam. The second game was Rangers. They played Napoli. Rangers lost to Ajax Amsterdam 4-0, and now here is the second game. Play Napoli, and they lose 3-0 at their own hometown. Now, the next game for them will be Liverpool. They will definitely lose that game, and unfortunately will have to leave the Champions League in group stages. So that was Group A, and now it sits Group A. Napoli is the number one, 6 points. Liverpool and Ajax Amsterdam, second and third. They both have 3 points each. And of course, Rangers, after the 2 losses, they have 0 points. Moving on to Group B, which has Club Brugge, Leverkusen, Bayern Leverkusen, that is Atletico Madrid, which is in my eyes the strongest, and Porto from Portugal. 4 teams, not a group of death by any means, but I think Atletico Madrid and Porto are strong, but also don't forget about Bayern Leverkusen. They're not that easy to beat. And now after the second game, Club Brugge sits up top with 6 points, 3 points for Leverkusen, 3 points for Atletico Madrid, and 0 points for Porto. Now, it's kind of strange that Club Brugge sits on the top of that group, but that comes after their 2 games that they played and won. One of them, they beat Leverkusen. Now we're going to Group C, which of course has your beloved Bayern Munich, FC Barcelona. It has Inter Milan and Club Brugge. Of course, the highlight game for this group was the Bayern Munich game versus Football Club Barcelona. I think that both managers went there very cautious. You could see at the beginning of the game, they both trying to see, how the other team will play. But when we see players in the midfield like, Sergio Busquets and Kimmich going against each other's, it becomes a very, very, very competitive midfield, and it becomes also a very competitive edge game. Highlight of the game was, of course, Bayern Munich ex-star that now is in Barcelona, Robert Lewandowski, the Polish captain. He departed Bayern Munich, went now to Barcelona, plays for Barcelona. And now he goes back to the Allianz Arena and plays with Barcelona. Great welcome from the Bayern Munich fan to their ex-number 9 legend. He's still the third all-time scorer after Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. So, of course, Lewandowski, lots of weight. He's taken to the Allianz Arena, the home of Bayern Munich. Of course, Bayern Munich were too good on the day, as we all remember. They thrashed Barcelona in that very stadium 8-2 at some point. So, Barcelona going there was a bit scary for them. They missed a lot of chances. To be precise, 37. They had 37 chances, Barcelona. 37 chances, but they did not convert. Could not convert. Bayern Munich defense, Upamecano and such were incredible. And again, talking about Bayern Munich that has the best starting 11 probably in the whole world. But of course, their defense is intact, especially with Hernandez, the French player, and Upamecano right next to him. They both play for France and for Bayern Munich, so that's a great sort of a combination. Pavard, also the right back, plays for both, club and country. Plays for Bayern and for France. So all three know each other very well. Unfortunately, Pavard got hurt. Was substituted by the Moroccan young player that just came into Bayern Munich, Nazuri. He's a great player, great substitute. Kept going at it. And again, Bayern showed us the class they are. 2 goals. First was for the defender, Hernandez, and the second was for the amazing, and in my eyes, one of the best players in the world, for Leroy Sané, number 10 for Bayern Munich. What a player. And what a game that was. Next, Inter Milan played in the Czech Republic, and Inter Milan won 2-0. Now for Group C, sits on top is Bayern Munich after 2 games, 6 points, 2 wins. Second and third are Inter Milan, tied on points, 3 points each. And last is Pilsen, the Czech Republic team that sits with 0 points. Next is Group D. Group D has Sporting Club Tottenham, Frankfurt from Germany, and Marseille from France. Surprisingly enough, in this group, we're not going to talk about it a whole lot. I'm an Arsenal fan, as you all know, and I don't like talking about Tottenham. But as you all know, Tottenham beat Marseille in London 2-0, and they went on and lost to Sporting in Portugal. They lost 2-0, and it was scored at the last minute. Tottenham now is sitting second. Number 1 is Sporting Club Portugal, 6 points. Tottenham is number 2 with 3 points. Frankfurt number 3 with 3 points. And surprisingly for me, to be honest, seeing Marseille with 0 points, 2 games in, and they're sitting as number 4. Next will be Group E that has Milan, Dinamo Zagreb, Salzburg, and Chelsea Football Club from England. The first game of the day, or the first game of Champions League this week go around, was this game here. AC Milan played at the San Siro, and they played a great game. Milan won that game 3-1 for Dinamo Zagreb, and one of the goal scorers was the absolute greatest, Olivier Giroud. And let me just stop here for a second and I say greatest. This guy won the World Cup, the UEFA Champions League, the UEFA Cup, World Club Cup with Chelsea, and of course the World Cup with France. Scored more goals than anyone in France, and he is just very underrated. When he played for Arsenal, I really loved his style of play. He can hold the ball. He was utilized very, very good. Since he left, I don't think Arsenal has ever required another player that can do that and hold the ball very well like Olivier Giroud. He also just won the Champions League the year prior to last, or the year before last, with Chelsea Football Club and Thomas Tuchel, that, as we all know now, is no longer working for Chelsea Football Club. He was fired. He was sacked. Don't know, there's a lot of speculation on why and why not, but his statement to the club was very professional, and he did win the Champions League for them. Giroud did score in that very game against Dinamo Zagreb, and it ended 3-1 for Milan now to sit on Group E as the number 1 place. So Milan is 1 with 4 points. Dinamo Zagreb is 2 with 3 points. Salzburg, 3rd with 2 points. And Chelsea is number 4 with 1 point. Next is Group F. Again, we talk about Real Madrid, the Champions League winners, won it 14 times. That's the record that nobody else comes close to. And we know that Real Madrid always do their best or prioritize the Champions League over anything. This time around, they're in Group F. They're leading Group F. Shakhtar Donetsk and Celtic and RB Leipzig share the group with them. But again, as we all know, 2 wins for Real Madrid now so far. The last game last week, they played RB Leipzig. Was a very good game. First half was very tough for them because RB Leipzig, the German team, is very, very good. And they play great football. They work as a team collectively. They press together. They run together. They pressure together. And they go up the field, together. They're very quick. Transformation from defense to attack. And their players all have heart, work together tremendously as a team. And that's what you want in football. So they did make it very, very hard at the Bernabeu. They played in Spain, the home of Real Madrid. And it was a very tough game, first half for Real Madrid. But of course, we know that Carlo Ancelotti will make the right decisions at the right times, in which he did. He switched in the second half after he went 0-0. He switched Camavinga to Marco Asensio, which came in really and made a difference. And also on top of that, scored a goal. One for him and one for the unstoppable Valverde. The Uruguayan player is on fire. He scored twice in a row for Real Madrid. Crucial goals. Spanish League, La Liga, so domestic and European, also Champions League now. He's scoring. What a player for them. They won the game 2-0. Real Madrid sits on top of Group F. They now have 6 points. Second to them, Shakhtar Donetsk with 4 points. Celtic is third with 1 point. And RB Leipzig is fourth with 0 points. And to me, it's a bit weird that RB Leipzig is sitting fourth in that group, but the group is too strong. I know RB Leipzig is a very, very good team. We'll see. The last game will be against Celtic. I know RB Leipzig is going to beat Celtic probably because that's just that good. But in a group like that, where you have Barcelona and you have Bayern Munich going at you, it's pretty tough to go to the next round. Group G is the next group we're going to talk about that has Man City, Borussia Dortmund, Copenhagen, and Sevilla. Copenhagen and Sevilla game, the last game for this group, was 0-0. At the same time, Dortmund played Man City, and Dortmund lost to the Citizens in Manchester 2-1. It was a good game, and that's for Group G. Man City now leads the group with 6 points. Second is Borussia Dortmund with 3 points. Copenhagen and Sevilla both sit third and fourth with 1 point each. Next is Group H, which has, of course, Paris Saint-Germain, Maccabi Haifa, Juventus, and Benfica. PSG, they're sitting as number 1 now after 2 games. They went down to Tel Aviv and played Maccabi Haifa in Tel Aviv, which was very difficult for PSG. Maccabi Haifa played a great game. They scored first in the first half, and they almost embarrassed PSG because they were just simply working as a team, working very hard collectively, trying to make it happen, and they almost did. But of course, we know the quality of PSG with Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe leading the front. They were able to score all 3 of them, and the game ended 3-1 to PSG, and again was one of the best games this go around in the Champions League. And you could see this year Neymar, beside of course Messi and Mbappe, they're both great at what they do players wise. But Neymar, I think in my mind, is the highlight for PSG this year because he is going all the way back to the 18 to take the ball up for his team. He runs at you. He runs at defense. He passes the ball very well, works very well with both Messi and with Mbappe. I think he's all over the place. I think he's done a great job for PSG this year, and he is the difference maker. And of course, the other game we all know that Juventus was part of, and they lost to Benfica 2-1. And we all saw Draxler, that moved from PSG now to Benfica, played very, very well, I thought, for Benfica and was a great part of their win against Juventus. Juventus is not that easy of a club to beat. They have tremendous players and they have great defense like Bonucci and such. However, they lost to the Portuguese champion. They lost to Benfica 2-1. So Group H now, Paris Saint-Germain sitting as number 1, 6 points. And number 2, Benfica, 6 points, 2 wins. Juventus and Maccabi Haifa, they both sitting in 3rd and 4th place. Weird, to see Juventus with 0 points, 2 games. I don't think Allegri is happy. I don't think the team is happy because this is not what Juventus belong after 2 games. The Italian giant, or the old lady like they call him, is really having a tough time, need to regroup, and they need to come back strong because of the history for the club. And that was it for the 8 groups of the Champions League this year from Arsenal FanTV America, and we enjoyed very much those games. And that was the summary for all groups in the Champions League. Group A through H, 8 groups, 4 teams each. We covered pretty much every group for you. And where is 1, 2, 3, and 4? This is the second week of the Champions League football. There's 3rd and there's 4th. So there's 2 more games. You could pretty much do the math with some teams that we talked about earlier that already left and they won't make it to the next round. And you can see now teams like Bayern Munich that almost, and Real Madrid, 2 wins in a row, look strong, almost secured a place in the next round, which we called, this is the 8 times 4, it's 32. So this is round of 32 teams. We cut that and then we go next to round of 16, which is basically 2 teams from each group. And as we said earlier, 8 groups times 2 teams. So that's the group of the 16 team, which is the next group. In that group, you still play 2 games and then you go on to the quarterfinal, the semifinal, and then the final. Thank you very much for joining us, watching Arsenal Fan TV in America with our new edition of the Champions League. Coach Abraham here, and I hope you have a great week. We'll see you in the next go around. Have a great rest of your life. Bye now.